I was looking into some AI applications for motion capture. I was looking mostly for apps that I can use for capturing performances, and I've used a bunch of them in the past, but I was looking if there is something new in that world. And I found these two different applications that it is not what I was looking for, but I thought these could be useful somehow in my alternative pipeline for motion capture. So let's take a look at this. I'm not an expert by any means. I've been using this for like 1 hour or so, but because I tend to forget things, I thought that it would be a good idea to record this video. So, in a year time from now, if I need something like this, I can find it on my YouTube library and come back to these websites. So the first one is called Kairos.ai, and the other one is called Motorica. And as you can see, both of these apps are in beta. So I had a few issues with both of them. So yeah, they are not fully working, but they work for the most part. And both of them do similar things, but not really. And Kairos, which is the one that I have on the screen now, is actually a bit harder to use because it's kind of like a command line application. The other one is a little bit easier to use. So anyway, so the first one, Motorica.app, it has these two options here, but they are disabled. And it says here that I need an enterprise subscription that I don't have. I just sign up for both of these websites for free. And I think there is some limitations, like maybe you can do like 20 animations a day or something like that. I didn't pay attention really. But so far, I've been able to use it, both of them, without paying anything. And obviously, you don't want to pay for these apps. You want to just test if they can do the job for you, and then it's up to you if you want to pay or not. But anyway, this Motorica app, the only thing that is available for a free subscription is this Motion Stage. So I can just go there, and what you get here is this. This is what you get by default, which it looks quite nice, right? This is just like your regular user interface. Here you have a bunch of options like avatar settings. You can change the setting. By the way, when you change settings here, you need to click on this animate, which would apply the changes. And I assume every time that I click here, I'm losing credits. So I'm not gonna press. Or maybe not. Maybe you only lose credits when you click on export. I don't know. Anyway, here you can change from male to female, and here you can change the weight. Oh, actually, this changed now, right? So now it's heavy. Now it's thin. Oh yeah, this is changing a little bit. Yeah. But what about female? Oh yeah, I'm getting boobs. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is actually working. You don't need to click on animate. Then you have this follow character, which essentially, it follows the character or not. I guess both are useful. Then you also have this running place, which, instead of moving in the 3D space, it's just in the middle. You can also see the skeleton, and they show root path. Okay. That's pretty much it. And then the interesting part is what you have here. So first of all, you have a model that you can choose from. This is the AI-based model that they are using. It's called Tango version 1. There are others. I haven't tested them. This one says that it's coming soon, and this one is deprecated, so I'm using the one that is available. Then here in style, you can choose from different styles. And that would be, you have like this category here, like basic, and then you have creatures, and then you have personalities, expressions, and whatnot. And here on the top right, you can get previews for each of these. So, you know, if you click on that one, crouch or cool guy or whatever, these don't work until you click on animate, right? So again, I don't know if I'm losing credits by doing so, but let's try something. So I'm gonna take, for example, sneaking, okay, and I'm going to click on animate, and as you can see, this is kind of like a sneaking animation now, right? And as you can see here, we have a transition from, you know, walking or just sneaking to running. And that is because if you go to motion, here you have this speed that is set to 1.2 meters per second. And then this one, speed in second half. So if we take these to the same value, like 1.2, and here, by the way, you have the duration. Here you can see like a preview. So, you know, if I set that one to 10, now you can see that this is 10 seconds long. I'm going to put it back to 5. And now if I click on animate, it is going to update with the new settings. So as you can see now, you know, the full range is kind of like walking with this kind of a sneaking preset instead of just sneaking and then running, right? And here you have multiple presets like, you know, forward turn, for example, and then you would get something like that, right? And then you can change the speed, you can change the angle, for example. So it would do something like that, or you can reduce the angle, you can change the duration, and so on. And you have a bunch of presets here. Spin, yeah, that's weird. Okay. So yeah, you just play with these things and see what you can do. But yeah, let's try just a different style here, like cool teen. Let's see what that is. Okay. Yeah. So essentially you have a bunch of presets that you can choose from, and then you can change those presets slightly with things like speed and duration and the second part or the second half speed and so on, right? Here you can also change things like the hip bone height, and again, just take a look at some of these and see what you can do with it. So, and then at the end you have these options here where you can loop an animation or mirror an animation. I tend to export always animations with loop, so I can use that loop later in Houdini. And once you're happy with your animation, you can just click on export and this will export your animation. Okay, so successfully exported. It has been exported as FBX. You don't have controls for frame rate, which I found a little bit silly because that's actually very important. Or at least I couldn't find them. Maybe they are here because there is this also advanced control option. But I was looking at these earlier, and yeah, you have things like acceleration, deceleration, and then you have like turning behavior and so on. But I couldn't find frame rate options. So I would assume the frame rate would be 30 because I think this is mostly designed for gaming probably or for the gaming industry, but I guess it can be used for anything really. Okay, so that's it. Again, super simple to use, and the cool thing is that you can create a lot of animations for mostly for background characters. Then we have Kairos, and Kairos is I don't know if it's better or worse or I have no clue, but something that I like is that you can actually create animations based on text prompts, right? So yeah, let's give it a try. So for example, when you launch Kairos, this is what you get. So as you can see here, this is like a console, like a terminal. And here is your character that for whatever reason, it's kind of like halfway through the floor. Why? I don't know. And this works with commands. So basically, down here, you can do a bunch of things. So the most important command is probably help. So if you do /help and press enter, it will give you a bunch of commands that you can use. So the first one is avatar list, and that one shows the list of avatars. And then you can do a bunch of operations with avatars and a bunch of operations with animations and a bunch of operations with exporting things. So for example, if I do, you can do clear as well, I believe, just like that. No, yeah, it should be like this, clear. Yeah, it doesn't really work. So yeah, clear the history and start a new chat. It's not doing it for whatever reason. Anyway, so I'm gonna try avatar list. And that one gives me a list of all the avatars that come with the system, plus this one called Swan that I created. But all the others, if you pay attention here, start with an underscore before the actual name. And those are characters that you can use. I actually don't care too much about using characters because the whole idea of using motion capture is to retarget the motion capture into your own rig. That's why here, I'm not really sure if you can upload your character. I think you can do something because there is an upload FBX animation, but I think this is for a different type of thing. I think this is for importing some kind of animation. But in terms of updating this geometry with a different geometry, I haven't seen any options here. This one, you can upload your own geometry, but it doesn't really make any sense to me because you're going to do the retargeting anyway, and you would do that in a different 3D software. But anyway, I can choose different avatars from here. So let's say there is this guy called Kevin, for example. So if we want to use Kevin, we need to use a different command, and that command is avatar show, and then we need to do Kevin, or actually the name is underscore Kevin, right? Yep. And now we can see Kevin in the viewport, right? If we want to upload our own avatar, there was, all these commands are here, right? So there is this thing called avatar create. We need to create a new avatar. Then we need to upload an FBX model. And then we need to auto rig it, right? And then we can export it if we want. We can delete it if we want, right? So let's do avatar create, and I need to give it a name. So I'm going to call it Pepe. Avatar create Pepe. Enter. Okay, and it has been created. So now we have an empty scene. This is kind of like the container where we want to, load the avatar. So the next command, it would be something like avatar. So we created the empty container before, right? So now we need to do avatar upload and use the name of the container that we created. So avatar upload Pepe, enter, and now we get this choose file. So I'm gonna choose Electra, which is, the mannequin from Houdini. So I just clicked on that, it is uploading it, and it has been uploaded. Cool. So this is Electra from Houdini. Okay, great. And now we need to create a rig for Electra, and this is an automatic rigging. You cannot upload rigs, as far as I know. You need to use their own system, which makes sense because it's using motion clips, I guess. So we can do something like avatar auto rig and the name of the avatar. Enter, and this is the system is saying triggering auto rig of avatar Pepe. So it is doing it. It will take probably a little bit, and by a little bit I mean seconds. There you go. Successfully auto rigged avatar with this ID, blah 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 blah. And that's it. Okay, cool. So now we can create animations. Oh, by the way, if you want to export this character with a rig, you can do it. So you can do something like avatar export Pepe, and this would export an FBX geometry with the rig. In my case, I don't want to do that because I already have a rig that was created in Houdini, and that is the rig that I want to use. I don't want to use this rig at all. Cool. And that will export it. I believe it will create a zip file. And if you want to delete it, you can do avatar delete Pepe, and it will delete your avatar. Okay, great. So now let's say that I want to create some kind of animation. So I'm going to say here, let's do running forward, and I'm going to press enter. And it is awaiting for an agent response. So it is thinking about it. It is doing whatever the system is doing here. So let's wait a few seconds. Okay. And it says, I'm performing the action of running forward and decreasing speed. This action captures the essence of running forward while gradually slowing down. Okay, cool. So this is the animation that it has created. And I don't know if you notice something, and this is something that I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, and it's that my avatar is gone now, and it's using the, the avatar, the default avatar that they have here. So yeah, that's the character running. It would be nice to have some kind of following thing like here, right? So we can follow the character, or make this a bit smaller, or, being able to control all of this. But again, this is all in beta. So it's a little bit rough on the edges, but at least it's working. So, okay, it is running. And actually, it's nice actually, because I'm getting here credits use 10 out of 200. Okay, cool. I still have quite a lot of credits. Again, this is all free. I haven't paid for anything. Okay, so this is the animation that he created based on a prompt. Can I create something different? Well, let's try. Let's try to say something like walking tire, looking at the ground. Let's see what it does. Okay, let's see how long does it take to do it. Walk tire, walking with a slow pace and slightly hunched back. Okay, so as you can see, when you write a prompt, I only wrote walking tire, looking at the ground. It does reinterpret the prompt. I mean, it's kind of beautifies the prompt somehow, right? To make it a little bit more detailed, I would assume. I don't know what type of model this is using under the hood, but okay. My prompt was walking tire, looking at the ground. And okay, yeah, it's looking tire. Not sure if it's looking at the ground. The good thing is, like, remember, this is going to export a rig with this motion capture. I don't know, or I guess this is not motion capture. How can we call this? Motion generated or whatever. The good thing is, like, we have all these controls for the rig later. So if we want to modify this in Houdini, we can. So, if the only thing that we want to do here is to rotate the head pointing downwards, we can do that. Okay. Finally, I'm just going to say walking. Or actually, let's try something a little bit more difficult, like getting shot and falling on the ground. Let's see what we get. All right, falling, twists, and falls to the ground. Okay, all right, nice. Okay. All right, not bad. I mean, if you're an animator, like a keyframe animator, you probably would think that this sucks, which I probably agree with you. But for some kind of motion capture that you can use in a previs or something, this kind of works, right? Or for some kind of blocking. All right, good, cool. So now, how do we pass this animation to, well, I mean, I was want to say, how do we pass this animation to our rig? Obviously, we need to export the animation and do the retargeting Houdini. But actually, what I was thinking is, how can we see the character that we uploaded with this animation? Because again, for whatever reason, when I launch these animations, it always goes back to the default character that they have. So the way to use your own rig with this animation is by using this command, animation retarget, and now we need to use our avatar that was called Pepe, right? Yeah. So if I do that, it has submitted the work or the job, which is this retargeting thing. So let's see what we get. Shouldn't take long, hopefully. There you go. And now we're using Electra from Houdini, and it's applying that animation to Electra, right? So from here, if we want to export the animation to take it back to Houdini and do the retargeting there or whatever, we can do it, right? So I can do something like, I believe the command is export. I don't remember all the commands from memory yet. So because I don't remember, let me just go back to help. And it is boom, boom, boom. Where is this thing? Export, create a new export for the latest animation. There you go. So if we do export, create, enter, it has submitted the job. Okay, cool. Download here, getting shot and falling. You click here and it has been downloaded, right? Okay, great. So let's jump into Houdini and see how this stuff looks like. All right, so here in Houdini, I have Electra, which is my character. And if I take a look at the character, I'm using just this text geometry Electra, but it could be whatever character you might have, any custom character that you can create. Obviously, you need a rest pose for the geometry, which is this, and then you have a skeleton rest pose. And this skeleton has nothing to do with the skeleton that was created by both applications that we use online, right? Because those use their own skeleton. So what I'm doing here is just importing the motion capture. And I'm using FEX animation import, and this one is set to rest pose, and I'm importing the falling animation. So that's what I have. So this is the skeleton in rest pose, right? So obviously it doesn't move or it doesn't do anything at all. And then here I have exactly the same file, but in this case, the output is not rest pose anymore, it's animation. So when I enable this one, we get the animation, right? If we press play, it is just falling. Right? So we want to pass this information to our rig. So what we need in order to do that is to, we need to bring our rig, which again is this rest pose and the geometry over here. So we get both ingredients. This is all we need from our character. And the first thing that we need to do is use a rig match pose. And this one will match the pose of the skeleton rest from our character and the the rest pose from the motion capture. And in our case, we're lucky because both of them are in kind of like a pose. So that's all we need. We don't really need to do anything here. But just in case, I'm adding a skeleton blend where I'm blending between the rest pose and the actual animation. And that gives me some kind of pre-roll where the character is going from neutral pose to where the guy is falling, right? And I'm piping that into a rig match pose that, again, in this case, we don't really need to do anything. I'll show you later a different example where we actually have to do something. So then we need to map points, and this is the retargeting, right? So this is where we're saying, sorry, not the retargeting, the remapping, where we're saying, this bone in the motion capture is called left arm, but in our rig is called upper arm. So we need to say, we need to select all the joints in one of the skeletons and point them or remapping them to the target skeleton. And once we do that, we add a full body IK, and now we have the animation, but in this case, it has been applied to our skeleton. Okay, cool. And to see that properly, we can use a bone deform where we're inputting our rest geometry, our skeleton rest, and the retarget motion capture. And that's what we get, right? We get Electra with the right animation. So yeah, this is working just fine. Okay, great. Cool. So that was the falling animation. Now here I have the other animations that I exported from the other website. So not from Kairos, but from Motion Stage. So from that one, I exported a walking animation and a running animation. So if we take a look here, this is kind of jogging type of animation. And I think this one is a running animation. So this is running very fast, and this is kind of walking fast or jogging, whatever you want to call it. So we're doing exactly the same thing here. So here I can just switch between one animation or the other animation. That's all standard. And in this case, I'm adding a rig match pose, but in this case, I actually had to modify the original pose, I believe, because the rest pose here is in T pose, right? And our rig is on A pose. So essentially, you just need to take this rig match pose and modify the original, the motion capture pose, which originally it was like a T pose. So, just try to match the pose on your the neutral pose on your rig as good as possible. And once you do that, same thing, we need to do the remapping. So again, pointing to all the different joints, and that's it. And now we have the motion capture applied to our rig. Okay, so that's the walking animation, and this would be the running animation. All right, good, and that's it. Then, well, that's pretty much it. That's essentially how you apply the animations, right? But in this case, because these are background characters, I wanted to create like some kind of crowd system. So I basically am using an FBX character output here, where I'm exporting my rig in neutral pose. And here I'm using an FBX animation output, where I'm exporting the Electra run and the Electra walk. And here I can just test everything to see if it's working. And it is working, right? So good, great. So now I can create agents based on all this data. So I'm creating an agent called Electra, and I'm adding a couple of different motion clips. So these motion clips are using the motion clips that I'm using is the running and is the walking, and I can see how they look here. At the moment, I'm looking at run. So if I press play, these are running in space. Sorry, not in space, in place, because I'm applying the locomotion in the crowd system, obviously. So this guy is just running, and if we check the walking or the jogging, this is the guy kind of jogging. And that's it, pretty much, right? I'm adding an agent prep as well, so the characters can adapt automatically to the terrain. I have some kind of terrain here, so they adapt automatically to the terrain that is a little bit bumpy. And that's pretty much it, right? That we are outputting the agent here, and then we can just easily create a very simple crowd setup where I'm randomizing here the running and the walking and the clip time, so they have a little bit of an offset. And when I play this, I have all these characters here. All good, right? And finally, I'm just doing the crowd simulation, where I'm essentially importing or creating the crowd container, the crowd object, the crowd source, which is what I created up here. And then these are the crowd states where I'm using a walking cycle or the running cycle. And this is all going to the crowd solver. And that's pretty much everything that we need, right? So now when we play this animation, we have our crowds, right? And they are doing their thing. Okay, and anytime I can just come here and obviously I can add way more characters and I can space them out a little bit more. And by doing so, now I have a bigger crowd simulation where some characters are walking, some are running, and because this is a simulation, they should be avoiding each other and there should be no intersections or anything. And they should also be adapting automatically to this terrain that I have here. And yeah, and that's essentially how you use this AI generated motion in Houdini. Is it useful? Yeah, I think it can be useful. I mean, definitely for background characters or crowds or animations that you don't care that much about. I think it works fine. So yeah, take a look at those websites and play with them a little bit.